On Wednesdays, we were pink, and Chuggaaconroy is finally back. Oh man, do I have a lot to talk about today. So let's get started. Good morning and happy hump day, everyone. Let's get to my low, my high, my act of kindness. Let's see. What is my low? Well, actually, I did spill on my shirt yesterday. That stunk. Was not looking forward to that. My high was the weather actually got significantly better. I mean, it was still on the cool side to be sure, and I'll be honest, I still might wear a layer or two depending on what the weather's going to be like today, but it's starting to get a little bit better, which I really wouldn't get used to it because from what I remember seeing on the weather report, this upcoming weekend is going to be nothing but rain, which I really wouldn't be looking forward to that myself. It is what it is, though. And what's my act of kindness? I did a favor for someone yesterday. Someone gave me something for someone else, and I made sure it stayed safe until someone else got that item. So I did that. So yes, as my rather unambiguous intro would have you suggest, Chuggaaconroy is now officially back to finishing hopefully finishing his Let's Play of Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver. So the question is, what took so long? And this is the part where I need to think about where to start with this. Because to talk about what Chuggaaconroy did, you need to go back to when, probably back to the beginning of the series of Pokemon entirely. Because Pokemon was pretty much the first game where not only could you make a team to beat the game, but using a link cable and having a friend or two, you could battle against each other. And that was the norm for a little while. However, with the advent of the Nintendo DS and the ability to communicate with people, not just in a wider range of your immediate area, but all over the world, Game Freak decided to incorporate that technology into Pokemon. And it's been that way ever since. There are people that communicate, trade, and battle potentially from, here in the U.S. all the way to Europe, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. And with that sort of technology in mind, it wasn't long before we have the competitive Pokemon battling that we have today. I mean, online gaming really wasn't particularly new technology at the time. I mean, World of Warcraft existed several years before this would happen. However, this was a Nintendo DS for a video game that, a lot of people played. This technology was in the palm of your hands years before we'd have smartphones. So, naturally, a mechanic that Game Freak decided to put in around, technically this mechanic existed in Generation 3, Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, Fire, Red, Leaf, Green. But it wasn't until you got Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, and now Heart Gold and Soul Silver that this mechanic really became what you see in many aspects today, which is known as the battle frontier. The way it works, there are 5 facilities. Each of them has a quote-unquote frontier brain, and in each facility, there is a mechanic that is used for coming up with strategies in competitive battling. The battle tower is the one that most closely resembles the competitive battling that we know of today. The battle factory, you pick several Pokemon at random, and you possibly trade with a person you beat to add to your team of 3. There's there was a roguelike. There's a way to obtain X number of wins to get special prizes. Which reminds me, what was the purpose of the Battle Frontier? Aside from, learning how to battle competitively against other people. Because, you can't just put this in the game and have nothing to it. There is something to it. Now, here's the thing. I've always been fascinated with competitive battling. I know I wouldn't be very good at it because even with everything I know now, I definitely always feel like I'm very much... if I had a style at all for myself, I would say I'm very much hyper offense with not much setup. Like, all of my Pokemon have attacking moves. All of my Pokemon would have, coverage, which is good. But you need setup. You need defensive walls. And, you know what? Incorporate stall every now and again. Like, these are the strategies that, make Pokemon battling competitively what it is today. In 2009, that's when you had the first world tournament. And a lot of the rules you see now started way back then. Think about it. That was 17 years ago. And look where we are now. And that's what Chuggaaconroy has been doing. He's been going to all the facilities of the Battle Frontier, finishing the 5th and final one last night. There's the Battle Tower, Battle Factory, Battle Castle, Battle Hall. Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't remember the other one. But the point is, 5 facilities. You do well at them all, battle the Frontier Brain, and you get what's called BP, or Battle Points. And these Battle Points are the reason why anyone would ever do the Battle Frontier in the main game. Because with Battle Points, you could purchase items that you normally wouldn't get anywhere else. Including, and the only reason why I would ever do it, getting more Earthquake TMs. Yeah, unfortunately, it wouldn't be until Generation 5 that TMs would be have unlimited uses. There's only one Earthquake TM in the game in Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver. But with the Battle Frontier, you can purchase more of them. As well as other moves like Sludge Bomb, Energy Ball. This was the only way you could get Toxic. Thunder Wave TM. You could also get a Shadow Ball TM as well. There's lots of great TMs and battle items as well, like the choice items, Choice Band, Choice Specs, and Choice Scarf. the wide lens, scope lens, the muscle band. I believe you can also get the expert belt, I think. The life orb. And all you had to do was just win battles at the battle frontier, which sounds easy, but a lot of these battles get progressively harder the more you go, as you would expect. To the point where they get so incredibly hard that it's quite possible you won't be able to do anything before the AI would KO all of your team. And if you don't believe me, this is something I remember saying years ago, where I think someone had well over 140 some wins in a row at the battle tower, and his streak ended when the computer used a Rhyhorn that knew the move Horn Drill, which is an automatic one-hit KO move. But right on slow. Because it was holding a Quick Claw, which I believe has a 20% chance of allowing you to move first, no matter how slow you are. So, needless to say, you only get, a few chances with one-hit KO moves. I think at most 8 with PP Max. And there's only 3 members of your team that you're using. So yeah, that's literally what happens. And believe me, a lot of people have lost. It seems that people have either lost streaks in the battle frontier from mechanics like that, or in the case of what happened with Chuggaaconroy in the battle hall, someone used a Shedinja. Greninja wouldn't be until 2 more generations. What am I doing? Shedinja with the Wonder Guard ability. That's a Pokemon that's rather interesting. If you don't know what Shedinja is, there's a Pokemon called Nincada that evolves into Ninjask. However, if you have an extra open slot in your party, you would also get Shedinja as well, a bug and ghost type with the ability Wonder Guard, in which it only takes damage from super effective moves. Sounds awesome, right? And it is, until you see that Shedinja only has 1 HP. That means if Shedinja is ever caught in hail or a sandstorm, it's gone. Actually, it really would only be a sandstorm, wouldn't it? Or would hail work too? I know a sandstorm would. Especially with Tyranitar, sandstorm was everywhere. I'm gonna look that up actually. Hold on. Can hail break through Wonder Guard? In Pokemon. Yes, you can. Okay, so yes, Wonder Guard only blocks direct damaging moves that are not super effective. So it doesn't protect against indirect damage such as weather and effects. Okay. Alright. I thought so. Okay. And all this Battle Frontier stuff is what Chuggaaconroy has been doing. But it's a lot. I mean, just to win 7 battles in the Battle Tower, for example, takes a half an hour. Now imagine trying to make a streak out of that. You're playing that for hours and hours and hours. Chuggaaconroy worked on this for a total of 11 days straight. There were days he would dedicate entire days just for this. I mean, thanks to his editing, we'll never get to see all of it, of course, save for any highlights he decided to record. But he was at the Battle Hall, which is the last battle facility he went to, and it was like 10 o'clock at night. Lord knows how late he stayed up for after that moment. So yes, the Battle Frontier is something that, well, here's the thing. The one reason why I really wouldn't say the Battle Frontier is worth it is because if you want all these extra prizes and such, you have to wait until you beat the main story, which is kind of a letdown because, of course, you'd want to have such great items that you can obtain as soon as possible. See, without the Battle Frontier, the only way you can obtain items like a second Earthquake TM, for example, is if you somehow found someone who you could trade with who had multiples of these items. I mean, thankfully, there's, hacking and PK Hex that allows you to have this stuff. But at the time, it didn't really exist back then. So, yeah, that's what Chuggaaconroy's been doing for the last, couple of weeks. Seriously, it's been so long, I legit forgot what part we're on for this series. I'll look it up real fast. I think it's part 10. I want to guess it's part 10. Hopefully it's part 10. We'll see. I had to sneeze. Okay. Okay, this is part 11, I believe. Unless... Okay, yeah. Today's part 11. So yes, 11 parts in, and Chuggaaconroy's finally doing he finally did the Battle Frontier. As for what's next, well, I don't know what he's going to do next. I do know that he has to go against Cinnabar Island and Viridian City in Kanto. I guess we'll all find out later today. Hope you all like this video. Like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow on social media. As always, I'm very helping this video for all of you guys who watch. Enjoy for today. Hope you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Wednesday. And remember, anything you want to talk to him, to get a lend and then the year. Always take care and make good choices. 6 of 7 all day, baby.